Hello and welcome to part 33 of the series on how to create a chess game with ReactJS. In this part we are going to implement the stalemate logic. What is stalemate? Stalemate is a situation in chess where the player whose turn it is to move is not in check and has no legal move. So take for example the picture here on the right side. Here we have the black king. It's his turn and the black king cannot move anywhere because if he moves to the left to g8, he will be attacked by the queen. If he moves to the bottom left to g7, he will also be attacked by the queen. And if he moves down to h7, he will also be attacked by the queen. Which means that the only valid position that he can stand on is the position that he is standing on right now. So in order to, win this game, it's not possible. There is no win in this game. This game will be a stalemate because black cannot move and black is not in check. So if black was in check, so if the king was in check, white would have won. However, that's not the case, so it's a stalemate. All right, in order to program this, let's try and reproduce this in our application. So right here, we are going to open up the board, and then on the left we have the constants somewhere right here. And in the constants we have a list of all the pieces. So let's remove all the pieces except for, let's see, 2 pieces or 3 pieces. If you look at this example, the white king, the black king, and the white queen. So let's go ahead and, well, let's just remove everything except this rook. And then right here, let's remove everything except this rook. All right, so this will be the king, like so. This will also be the king. That's the team type. The piece type will be king, like so. And then we are going to copy this over and paste it right here. And this will be the queen. Then this position, let's give it a position of 1, and that should on the right side, if we refresh the page, be something like this. All right, and instead of having the queen there, we want to have the queen on g5 and then the king on h8. Yes, so the queen on g5. So let's see if the queen is right now on 1. G would be 6 and then 5. Something like this, I think. Let's see. That is correct. Wow. However, we do need to put it 1 lower. So 6,4. Yes. And then the enemy king, we want him on 7,7. So right there. Yeah. All right. So right now on the right side, if we look at this, we see that the black king almost has no space to move. And it's white's turn, because right now white can move. If white plays, and white will play, and if white plays this move, then black cannot move anywhere, because just as we saw on the page in Wikipedia, we saw that it was a stalemate position. However, the game is saying that the winning team is white. Why is that? Well, that is because right now the game is determining the winner based off if the enemy team has no possible moves left. If the enemy team has no possible moves left, then it must mean that our team has won. And vice versa for the enemy team. If our team doesn't have any moves, then the enemy team has won. However, that's not true, because if you don't have any moves, you can also be stalemated. How can we fix that? Well, in our board.tsx, let's go to there, board.ts, chessboard.tsx, right here. We show this message, and this message is down here. Let's see, is it here? No, it's not. It's in the surrounding component, so that should be right here. Yeah, and let's minimize that so we can see the code a little bit better. Right here, we have the model, and it's hidden by default. And if this model is visible, then we see the winning team is, and then the winning team. And that's exactly the model that we are seeing right here. All right, so when do we show this model? We have a reference to this. So let's go and find that reference by pressing Ctrl F while searching for it. Then we see that we have the initial reference right here. That's fine. And then right here, we see, hey, we're in a method, and this method is, let's see, play move. And if in play move at the bottom right here, the clone board, so after we have played our move, if the winning team is not undefined, then we want to show this checkmate modal ref. Okay, so when will this winning team be determined? Let's go into the clone board. We can do that by pressing F12. And then right here, we see that we have a property named winning team on the board. Let's press Ctrl F. And then let's search for the winning team. And then here we have our reference. And this is the only reference besides this one. So right here, let's see in which method we are. We are in the calculate all moves method. In this method, we do calculate all the moves. And at the end of the method, we determine the winning team. And here we say this.winning team is equal to this.current team is our. Then it is the opponent. Otherwise, it's our team. So what does this say? Because we see our, we see opponent, we see our current team, etc. Well, what this says is check if the playing team still has moves left, otherwise checkmate. So right here, we are checking, hey, does the current team that is playing have any moves left? If yes, I suppose we return yes. So if the current team has any moves left, then we return out of this function or this method. However, if the current team doesn't have any moves left, then we go to the next line, which is this one. And then we are going to check, hey, is the current team our team? Well, if it is, then the opponent has won. If it is not our team, then we have won. However, there is one crucial part that we are missing right here. And that is if the playing team doesn't have any moves left, but is also not in check, then it is a stalemate. So how do we know if the current team is in check? Well, we know when a piece is in check. That is when the king, only the king, other pieces cannot be in check. But that is when the king is being attacked by an opponent piece. So we in this method, we already calculate the king moves. And if the king doesn't have any possible moves, that means he has to stay in that position that he is right now, which means that we only need to check if any of the enemy pieces can attack the position that the king is on. All right, so let's write that down here. Let's make it a little bigger, and then right here, we're going to say if any of the opponent's team pieces can attack the king tile, then he is in check and the other team has won. All right. So then if he is in check, it's justified. The winning team is justified. However, if none of the pieces can attack the king tile, then there is no winning team. All right, so let's check it out. We are going to look for, we need a couple of things. The first thing that we need is the king position of the current team. Then the next thing we need is all the moves from the enemy team. And then what we need to do with those two parameters is check if any move overlaps king position. All right, so ChatGPT will surely type this out if we write those comments, and he would say, yo, you can do it like this or that. We're going to do it by hand. So right here, we're going to say, we need the king position. So let's say const king position is equal to, and then this dot pieces. And then let's see, we want to find the piece that is the king dot filter. And we can even use find because we know that there will be only one find, and then p dot is king. Great. And because there are two kings in the game, p dot team is equal to this dot current team. So all right, so let's put this in a new row like so, or in a new line. Now we have the king position. Well, not the king position, it's a piece. Oh, it should be fine. Right here we can say dot position. And then it will add a question mark because this might be nullable. However, we know for sure that this piece will exist. So we could also add an exclamation mark. That would also be possible. However, well, now this will be position or undefined. Great. So first variable right here, check. All right. Next one is all the moves from the enemy team. So const enemies is equal to this.piece, sys.find p, and then p dot team is not equal to current team. So now we have all the enemies, and what we want to do is we want to get, oh, that's one is equal sign to many. What we want to do is we want to get all the moves. So right here we are going to say small mistake. We are getting an array back instead of one piece, so we will have to use the filter method. Then we can use map right here, and then we can say, well, for this piece we want to get all the moves. So we say p.possible moves. And then now what we have is an array of arrays. So let me get it straight for you, because this might be complicated. If we hover over the enemies, we see that we have a position, array or undefined, and then array. As you can see, we have a double array. So what does this mean? This means that we have an enemy, a list of enemies, and from this list of enemies, we want to, and let's make this, because this list of enemies is an array, right? Enemy array. From this list of enemies, we want to map the possible moves. So we want to only take out the possible moves from those enemies. So for example, a simpler version would be take the name of the enemy. Then we would write dot map p dot name if they would have a property named name. So for example, one is named Catherine, one is named Lucas. Now what we have after this line will be list of enemy names, and it will be an array of string, probably like so. All right, so this makes sense. This is normal. However, instead of doing this, what we are doing, and I'm going to put that right here, what we're doing is take the moves from the enemy, and the moves is not of type string. The moves, and then here we have is equal to p.moves. The moves is an array of itself. So we have a list of enemy moves. So that will be a move array, and then an array of move arrays. You still following me? So where we had a string before, because an enemy has one name, so that will be one string. An enemy has multiple moves, so that is multiple moves. And then down here we had a list of all those strings, which is the second square bracket. And here we have a list of enemy moves, which is the second square bracket. However, this right here is, well, you can work with it. I mean, it's not bad. However, what we want to do is we want to just get all the moves, and we don't care if the moves from the rook are in the same list as the moves from a pawn. So instead of doing this, what we can do is we can make one array out of this. And well, basically what this does, I think it is the reduce method. And this method will make this into this, which contains all the same moves. However, it's flattened. And I think I know it's flat, I suppose. It's not reduced, it's flat. So basically it takes the two arrays and it tries to flatten them into one array. All right, enough talk. Let's remove this code or this comment, and we are going to put it in action. And right here, we're going to say dot flat. And I'm going to comment this out one more time for demo purposes. Right here, we have an array of positions, or it is undefined, and that is an array, as you can see. And then if we comment in flat again, then we see that we have an array of position or undefined. All right, so, well, before we do that, I want to show this in one other way as well. Console.log and then enemies. And this is not correct. This is enemy moves. Like so. Enemy moves. If we now go to the browser and open up the console and then refresh the page. If we now move to here. We don't see anything, huh? No, we don't. That's too bad because we are not getting there because it's above there. Okay, wait. I'm going to just copy over this to here, save it up, refresh the page. Okay, so now we see it in action. Let's zoom in a little bit. Right here, we have an array. And as you can see, we have an array of two arrays. And the first array is of length 0. And the second array is also of length 0 because they don't have any moves. Now, if we move this king down, like so, then we see that we have an array of 1. With one array inside of it. So the first thing that we had right here, that was from the two white pieces. And the second thing that we had right here was with the black piece. And why we have an empty array, that's probably because we, somewhere right here, yeah, we remove the possible moves for the team that is not playing. So that might be a little bit problematic because we do need the moves from the team that is not playing. So we are actually going to put this code right there because we need to get the moves before we remove them. All right, so we can try this out one more time on the right side. If we now move the queen to the left, we get two arrays, and let's zoom in on them. And well, we have one array containing two arrays. The first array has 3 positions, and this is the array for the white king at the bottom of the page. He can move to 3 positions. The second array, however, is an array with 56 positions, and that is for the queen. All right, so as you can see, we now have one array containing 2 arrays. Instead of doing that, what if we add the flat method to the end right here? What do you think will happen? Well, let's find out. We saved it up. Let's refresh the page and we move the queen to the left. If we now zoom in again, we see that the 2 arrays that we had just a second ago have now been merged into one single array. We now have one array of 59 moves. And I also see an array of 3 moves. Well, that's from black, I think. However, as you can see, the array for the white moves has been merged into one, which is great because that's what we wanted to achieve. All right, enough talk for now. Let's continue coding. Right here, we save the enemy moves and we log them. Well, we don't need to log them anymore. We can remove that. What we do want to do is we want to keep track of this variable which we have, which is great. We have the other variable as well, which is the king position. So we have the king position and we have all the moves from the enemy team. And now we need to check if any move overlaps with the king position. All right. So if enemy moves dot find, we want to find the move that is the same position as the king position. And then we can error because this might be undefined. So let's add an exclamation mark right here because we know for sure that the king exists and now it cannot be undefined anymore. Be careful with this though, because if it doesn't exist, then the program will just crash because, well, we just ignored its warnings. Yeah, another way to solve this would be to do something like if king position and then execute the code inside of this if statement, because right here it is valid. As you can see, now king position is a position. Here it isn't, it's position or undefined, but because we match it in the if, we know for sure that it is defined. We can also change this by saying if it is not a king position, then we want to return, and then after this if statement, if it didn't come inside of this if statement, we know that it is a king position which has a value. Well, we're not going to do that right now. We are just going to add an exclamation mark like so. All right, so king position is defined. Well, the moves are defined as well. If we find any move, and we don't want to find if any, some. So if one of the moves has the same position as the king position, then it's checkmate. So here we know king is in check. However, if this is not the case, it is a stalemate. Now we have also checked if any move overlaps with the king position, which is right here. We can remove the comments right here, like so. And then let's see, we have the king position. What we want to do, let's just log something right here, console.log, check. And then right here, we console.log stalemate. And then we should be able to see in the browser what is the correct situation. So right now, if we move the queen to here, we should see stalemate in the console exactly, and the winning team is white in the browser, which is awesome because now we can decide whether it's stalemate or not. However, we also want to know if we can still make checks. So let me just cheat a little bit by adding one more piece onto the board. So right here we are going to add a new piece, and then let's add it at position 6,3. Oh, that should not be possible, or should it? Yeah, we can. The pawn can upgrade. If we now move this queen to here, it should say checkmate. Yes, as you can see, now we have check, and the winning team is white, which is correct. However, now we see stalemate. And now that we see stalemate, we want to do something with that. All right, so now inside of our board.ts, when we have stalemate, we don't have a winning team. We have a stalemate. So let's go up here, and we are going to add one new parameter right here, or one new property, which will be stalemate, and this will be a boolean. And by default, we will say this dot stalemate is equal to false. And then we are going to go down here, and we want to say right here, stalemate is equal to true. And then otherwise, we want to do this. So inside of here, we want to set the winning team. Nice. All right. So now that we have that, we shouldn't be able to see the winning team is white when it is a stalemate, which is correct. We don't see anything, but we cannot do anything either because, well, we don't have any moves. So we do need to show something. In our referee right here, we are checking if there is a winning team. However, instead of only checking for the winning team, we also want to check if there is a stalemate. So right here, we are going to add if clone board.stalemate is true, and that will be this, like so. However, we can also omit the is equal to true and just type it like so. If clone board stalemate, and then else if clone board that winning team is not equal to undefined, then we get this. All right, so what do we want to do when we have a stalemate? We can do a lot of things. So the first thing that we should do is we should show a different message right here. And let's see, the message that we show down here is the winning team is this. What we can do is we can create a new model and then use that model for the stalemate. However, we already have a perfect model. Or perfect, we have a relatively good model. How about we just show this text dynamically based on if there is a stalemate or there is a winning team? That would be a great idea. So let's go to here, and then let's see, in the span we want to type something which will be a model message, and this is non-existing variable. That's true, because we are going to add it right now. We are going to go to the top, and then right here, we want to say const modal message, set modal message is equal to use state, and this will be an empty string, like so. And now what we can do is we can go down to here, and then when we have a winning team, we want to say set modal message equal to, and then we want to insert this string right here. And let's see what's happening, because it's not going great. The winning team is, and then we want to add, so here we want to use string interpolation, and we cannot do that with the double quotes that we have right here. So instead of using double quotes, we are going to use backticks, and then it's still a string. However, if we add a $sign to the part where we want to add code, we can render our code, and then this will return white or black, which means that we still have the same behavior. If we save this up, then refresh the page, and then cause a checkmate, then we see the winning team is black, which is not right. And I think I see what the problem is. We use board right here. This should be clone board. And now if we refresh the page, we see winning team is white. Great. However, if we have a stalemate, nothing is happening. Let's close the console. We don't see anything. However, we do want to be able to restart the game. So let's go ahead and then right here, say set modal message. It's a stalemate. And then next to only setting the modal message, we also want to remove the hidden clause from the checkmate model, because if we don't do that, then we don't have any model to show. So let's refresh the page, and now if we enforce a stalemate, we see it's a stalemate. And even if we remove this text, we still show the dialog. However, then the dialog will not have any text to display. So we also want to keep the message. You might also want to rename this checkmateModalRef to endgameModalRef. And while we're at it, why not let's just do it? Because this is not a checkmate, it's a stalemate. In order to do that, let's go to here and then find this reference right here. What we can do is we can press the right mouse button and then rename symbol, or press F2, and then we can rename this to another reference, and then it will automatically update all the references to this variable right here. Another way we can do this is by pressing Ctrl D, and then we will just select the next piece of text that is exactly the same as the text that we are selecting right now, which is in this scenario basically the same thing. There is a difference, however, because say in this play move method right here, we have a let checkmate ModalRef is equal to true. Then we have a local boolean right here, which is having the same name as the variable right here. So if we press Ctrl D, we will also select that variable. However, we don't want to rename that variable because it is not the same variable. It has the same name, but it's not the same variable. And when we press the right mouse button and then use the rename symbol method, we will only rename the symbol which is the same variable, so not the same name. So right here, if we say endgameModalRef, we see that all the occurrences down here have not been updated. Some of them. So right here we should see, yes, so here we should see it. All right. So this is a little bit unlucky because we have declared an inline a variable right here, which has not been updated. So that's good because it's another variable. However, now the program thinks that we are referring to that variable from here, which is not the case. So let's avoid any confusion, remove this like so. And then let's just do it the good old way by selecting all the names by pressing Ctrl D a lot of times. That might be satisfying as well. And then let's say endgameModalRef, press Ctrl S, and then right now as we can see, we have a stalemate and we have a checkmate. Great. One last thing that we need to do before we are going to finish this episode, which is we want to reset all the pieces that we had on the board. So otherwise it would be a little bit unfair for black. Let's save it up. I just pressed Ctrl Z a lot of times, and then right here we see that we have a chess game again. And with this, I want to thank you for watching. I hope you could follow along. Leave a like, comment down below, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next episode. Bye!